What is up, peeps? How's it going? Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of Laugh Lopez, where we share about life, marriage, parenthood, ministry, and so much more, all while sharing real life stories and lots of laughs.
Can you guys hear us?
Along the way.
They probably can, right?
Can you guys hear us? Give us a thumbs up. We're doing a live stream, and we've been through this with the pandemic, and it's like everybody can hear you. Some people can't hear you.
It's giving virtual church.
Virtual church vibes, which triggers Natalie. Triggers Natalie drastically. So can you do me a favor? Just because it's killing me. There we go.
Cool.
We already got a lot on the table that can be visible, and it's killing me right now. What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. I personally prefer to do live streams because I like the interaction with people. Thank you, Abby, for giving us a thumbs up.
Yes.
I love the interaction with people.
And I hate live streaming, but because I love him and because marriage is all about compromise.
There we go. See that? We could do a whole episode on compromise in a marriage. And serving one another.
He probably does it more, honestly, than I do. I'm not going to lie. But tonight, I said, you know what? I'm going to say yes to this.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad to be here. I am glad to be here, and I'm glad that you decided to tune in. The response to this podcast has also been really, really cool and awesome. It's been really encouraging for me, and I just thank you guys for continuing to tune in and hang out with us and have fun.
You guys keep showing up to listen to us talk.
And I don't understand why.
But we're thankful, guys.
Thank you. We love you guys.
Yes, it is awesome.
So, today, on today's agenda.
Yes.
On this episode. Dum, dum, bum, bum, is that how the... No?
We're just going to jump
That's not how the
inside.
Law and Order background music goes or whatever? It's like the... No? Okay. We're not doing that. Got it. She gave you the look, guys. It's not going to happen.
That was like the budget version of the Law and Order soundtrack. So, not.
On today's episode of Laugh Lopez, we are discussing potential in relationships.
Yes. How people say, like, but he has potential or but she has potential. We've all said it. Well, maybe you haven't said it. I've said it before, but like...
I'm going to keep it real with y'all. This honestly triggers me a little bit. So I might go on some rants and go down a lot of rabbit holes with this. I don't know why. Natalie and I were talking about this just before we came on. I think I'm a little bit more passionate about this topic than she is. I have this conversation a lot with people.
The background music.
And thank you guys. You
Thanks,
see,
Liz.
This is why we don't do live streams. Okay, so I'm more passionate, I think, a little bit about this topic because I have this conversation with people often on potential in relationships. Is potential in relationships a good thing or bad thing?
Yeah.
Should people date / get married and or based on potential?
Yeah.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is a clear no.
A clear no for you.
Thank you for coming to our podcast. That's the end of the topic.
Have a nice night, everybody.
Now, I think it's a definite no.
Okay, I'm actually a little bit surprised by that.
Because I'm very romantic.
Because you're very romantic and you're honestly the more hopeful person in our relationship.
Yes. I'm
more of the pessimist, right?
Yeah.
Did I use that word properly?
Yes.
Pessimist?
You're more of a realist.
I'm more of a realist.
I'm a hopeless romantic. So if you know me, you know that I am always trying to play matchmaker with my friends, very unsuccessfully, because there seems to be no decent men out there that are not already married.
We're praying for you, ladies.
If you are a decent man who is not married and you love Jesus, please comment, contact us, because I have some incredible, amazing women out there that are just looking for a person that has a job, loves Jesus, and is attractive to them.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that's too much to ask for.
So I'm going to I'm going to disagree with you to a certain extent. I think potential does have its place in a relationship.
Okay.
But I think it's how we go about that potential. And I think that there are certain things we need to understand about potential.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think I would agree with you. But I'll let you talk. Like, I'll let you explain your part. I think that it can't be on potential alone. Like, it just can't be like, oh, well, they might be great, so I'm going to give it a chance and try to. This isn't build a boyfriend or build a girlfriend, like build a bear. Like, I don't think you can just put the pieces together.
So I think we need to start with defining what potential is. Okay. I did my research.
He did, guys.
I did my research, and I took notes.
He has notes. Like, he came ready to go.
And I have to stick with my notes.
I added a few points at the ends. I think I want to talk more about, can you change someone? Like, do people change in a marriage? Can you try to change a person that you're married to? That's part 2. But take it away, Jose. Tell us the definitions.
Here is the definition of potential according to Google. Having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. That's the adjective version of it. The noun definition of it is latent qualities or abilities that may be developed and lead to future success or usefulness.
Okay.
So I think potential could be a good thing, right? Because the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
They could have the potential to be a good spouse. They could have the potential to be a good provider. They could have the potential to be a good parent.
Yeah, but anyone can have the potential.
They could have
like
the potential.
Have the potential.
But hold on.
Okay.
We're getting somewhere, okay? Give me a second. They could have the potential to be a hardworking individual, or to be kind, or the potential to be an entrepreneur and own their own business.
That sounds like I don't have a job.
That's not true. That's not true.
Sorry.
I honestly thought you would be a little bit more like gracious about this topic. I'm surprised.
When you said, I don't know, I think people can spin it. Like, I feel like entrepreneur could be like, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm gonna anyway, keep going.
Yeah, no. I think that potential does have its place, and I think potential, it can be a positive thing. However, I think it's what people do with that potential that matters.
Yes.
Because the problem is that when you date someone specifically built on and based on the potential in their lives, when you marry someone based on the potential of what they could or could not be, or what they could or could not do, or how they could or could not behave in the context of a relationship and in a marriage, that's where the problem lies. Because what ends up happening is one person is going to be disappointed.
Yeah, that's true.
When that potential, that is a possibility of what may become or what may happen, doesn't become a reality.
Like, he might be a great guy, or he might just be a scrub. He might be.
He may, or he may not, right? And that's the problem. So the question is, how do we genuinely, how do we define potential in relationships? But also, how do we genuinely decipher? And I don't think that you can fully decipher it, but how can you really tell if someone is actually functioning in their potential, or if you're just seeing some kind of potential?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if you're a hopeless romantic person, like I tend to be, where it's like, well, they could be. You know what I mean? Like, they could be the next... the next Zac Efron.
Zac Efron? Is he still a thing? Is Zac Efron still a thing? Your High School Musical crush?
He's still a thing.
He's still a thing.
He's still a thing. He's making movies.
The last thing I remember him being on was, what, The Greatest Showman?
He has the Netflix series where he explores the world.
He's got potential. Oh, man.
Okay.
This is spiraling out of control.
But I'm saying, like, a hopeless romantic person, that could almost hurt you to the extent where it's like, well, they could be. They could be. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not right now. They're actually, they don't really have any motivation. They might not be doing much of anything. They don't have a passion for God or any interest in the Lord, but there's a potential. They could, like, I could be an astronaut. Mm-hmm. I could be a police officer. I have potential to do it. But, like, I think you also have to be realistic.
I'm going to be careful with agreeing or disagreeing with you so that I don't get in trouble right now on this podcast. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I think the problem...
At what point do you...
At what point do you say, okay, I just allowing love or the feeling of love...
And rose-colored glasses.
Blind me to my reality, or is there true, genuine potential there? But I don't think the potential is the problem.
Okay.
I think the person's the problem. One of our closest and the greatest pastors we've ever had, I would say, one of them. We've had amazing pastors, and we have amazing pastors now.
Yeah. Just people who have influenced our lives.
One of the people who have influenced our lives, I remember having a conversation with him, and he said something along the lines, potential is nothing but wasted energy. I'm going to change that a little bit after thinking about the specific topic, and I would say potential without progress is wasted energy.
That's pretty good.
I would say that. I think
Elaborate
the problem...
on that. Tell me more.
I mean by that is that potential being backed up by progress?
Yeah, like you want to see some kind of fruit.
Like he's got the potential to be romantic. Mm-hmm. Well, is he doing anything now that demonstrates he's working towards being more romantic?
Yeah.
He's got the potential to be kind.
Yeah, but
is he watching his tone when he addresses you? Or is he being mindful of the way that he's speaking to you?
Yeah.
Is he being, you know what I mean? Like, he's got the potential to be hardworking.
Yeah.
But does he show up to work on time?
Oh.
Does he...
That's good.
Is he willing...
Or she. We're saying he, but like...
Yeah. I'm saying he or she because this goes both ways.
I'm thinking,
but let's be real. Okay, let's be real about this, though. I think...
Uh-oh.
This could be me. Okay. I think I'm going to stir the waters. I'm going to make some people mad, and I'm okay with that.
You say that every week.
And they still come back. I think that if we're really honest, the gender that compromises on this aspect the most might be more women than men. I just made her mad, guys.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Would you agree with that? And here's why I say that. I think that women are wired to be nurturing and loving and caring. And because of that, a lot of women, not all women, hear my heart. Please don't come at me, ladies. But I think a lot of women, most women, end up compromising in this area because they believe that they can nurture and help and care for someone in a way that might steer them. Stay tuned for Jose's funeral service. That
Sam,
might
come get your boy.
Steer them towards progress. I just believe that I have seen this in the conversations that I have had personally. I've seen it more. Women have dealt with expectations not being met and being disappointed with expectations not being met when they've been in a relationship that they assume they have seen potential.
Basically, you're saying that women try to mother a guy to get them to be what they want them to be? like
in a
mold
sense.
them into like.
I think women. I
shape.
wouldn't say
Not
mother.
all, but
I
you're
would
saying,
say
like-
nurture, help, as like Genesis, the book of Genesis, right? God made the wife, being Eve, to be the helpmate of Adam. And it's the way God, I believe, really designed women to have that within them.
Basically, guys
be
can't
more-
figure it out.
Guys
so we
can't
have
figure
to
it out,
help
so-
them get their crap together. I'm gonna
I
sum that
give
up.
you that. I give
I'm
you
gonna
that.
sum it up in the Natalie way of what I took that. They can't get their stuff together, so we have to guide them along the way.
I am not filtering
because
myself on this podcast.
They don't really know what they're doing, and so
Okay.
they need a little direction.
I said what I said,
and I'm saying what I'm saying.
and I meant what I said.
I don't completely disagree with you. I think part of it is genuinely like they do need the help, and so we're like just trying to push them in direction. I think women are also more mature than men. We mature
100%.
quickly.
Mature quickly.
And we
Or
like
quicker, not quickly.
Yeah, but we have to like. So
Yeah.
I don't completely disagree with you. I think a lot of it is, like I said, them having to need the help.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I am saying is whether it is male or female, is that person, is that significant other, that person you're dating, that person you're considering taking the next step in or with in marriage, is that person genuinely showing a potential that is backed up by some kind of progress?
Yes, I think that's really good.
Some
and
kind
important.
of maturing,
Yes.
growth, working towards the purpose of that potential, or are you just seeing that potential because you're infatuated?
Yes, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's a huge deal. Because let me tell you something. You could compromise and take the easy route out and be like, you know what? I see this person's potential. I see what they can become. I see what they can do. And compromise in your like
beliefs,
and
your
but also
standards.
your standards.
Your standards, yes.
You know,
Yes.
like it's okay to have the standards that you have, and you don't always have. There's some areas that I think, okay, let's be realistic a little bit, but like you don't have to compromise your standards and take the easy route out, because let me tell you something: what is easy now will become more difficult later.
Yeah.
Marriage does not make things better. It only magnifies certain issues.
Because then you're stuck together
Weaknesses,
to figure it out.
quirks.
Like you get to be together, but you've got to like figure it out
Yeah.
for life.
Who was it that said that in there? I think it was Stephen Furtick who said in his message, the thing that attracts you to someone ends up being the thing you end up wanting to attack them for.
Yeah.
That makes you want to attack them, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just like potential can only get you so far if there's no progress.
Yeah.
Working
And I
towards
think
that
that
potential.
people have to be realistic to actually ask themselves the question and be willing to honestly answer the question. Is there progress backed up with that potential? Or are you like a hopeless romantic optimist that's still going to be like, no, but like he could be. Like he could be all these things. He could be, but you're not actually seeing any of that take place. And I think that's where it gets tricky, where you can lower your standards and things like that. You know, when we first started dating, it was a hot mess.
I had a lot of potential,
guys.
y'all.
He had potential, right? When I met Jose, we were really young.
I would say I still have potential.
He still got a lot of potential that got us still working out the fruit, guys. And in me too, but mostly in him. But when we first started dating at 16, like he had just met the Lord. It was like boom, 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 boom. But what did I see in him? The potential. I heard this man sing. That was my top
Oh my gosh.
list. Guys, I had a list. I'm not kidding. It was like 93 things that I wanted in a guy. Like I still have the notebook probably right back here. I know I have it back there
We'll have
actually
to-
because I showed my friends one day. I was digging through
We'll
it
have to
and
share
I was
a
laughing
picture
about it.
of that list on
Yes,
social media.
I had a list of things. And one of the top things I've always wanted in a guy was a singer, because I wanted him to be able to serenade me and I wanted him to be able to write me a song. Jose has never written me a song. I want
It's
it on the record
I haven't
that
checked
I
off.
am disappointed and I have asked for a song.
Listen.
No.
I am not writing you a song until I write my Savior song.
I'm talking about this.
When God gets a song, you'll get a song too.
He's never written a song. I've asked him for a song for a long time.
Not
We're going
my
on
gifting.
13 years. But anyway, the point is, I looked at Jose and I was like, oh, he has the potential. Like he could be all these things. But the problem was that there was not enough progress to say that it was like a healthy relationship in the beginning.
Yeah.
So we dated with me thinking he has the potential to be all these things. He has the potential to lead me. He has the potential to like worship God and do all of these things. But the fact of the matter is, plainly in front of me, these things were not like fruitful in him yet. He had a lot of other things that he needed to work on. Yeah. And so I'm over here trying to like shape and mold and do all the things. And guess what? It didn't work out well. We broke up for an entire year. Yeah. And there were things that he had to work out in himself that I could not. I'm not the Holy Spirit. So I couldn't play the part of Junior Holy Spirit, trying to shape him and trying to change him, all of these things that only the Holy Spirit could work out in him. Yeah. So we took a year apart. We broke up for a year.
She dumped me, y'all. I
dumped him in church.
In church.
Right after a service where I felt like God told me to do it. But
I had to spend hours at the altar, to say the least. To ask the Lord to repair my heart after it's been shattered.
But you were fine after like a year. So we had to take that time apart because that's the thing. Like there was potential, but there wasn't enough progress to continue moving forward in a way that was healthy or beneficial for either of us. Yeah. And so we took a year apart to actually work on those things, let God do the work on those things. Yeah. That year was a hot mess. It was great and terrible all in one. But in the end, we actually allowed God to do the things that he needed to do in our life so that we could come together in a relationship that was healthy and where there was fruit in your life and in my life. Do you agree?
I would agree. I would 100% agree.
Gabby, that was a dark time. Gabby, Stephanie, they have walked through it all with us. It was a hot mess.
Yeah. No, I would 100% agree with that. And so here's the thing, okay? I think potential within the context of dating is something that can be figured out.
Because they're not going to be perfect from the jump.
They're not going to be perfect.
Like, he wasn't going to be, Justin Timberlake.
And let me I should have prefaced with this.
I liked NSYNC at the time.
I should have prefaced with this. This is not a professional opinion. This is just Jose and Natalie's thoughts on this topic.
Yeah, this is just our experience,
take it or
guys.
leave it.
Yeah.
It's our podcast. We can literally say whatever we want. You don't have to listen to it.
We can't say whatever we want.
We can. We won't. But we can. Right? However, take it with a grain of salt. But I think, like we've been saying, within the context,
married on potential alone, that would have been a scary thing.
It would have been a scary thing.
It would have been a dark
100% scary thing
for a long time.
Because here's the thing: I think when you're in a dating relationship, I don't want to say it's not serious. You can have a serious dating relationship, and that's great. That's cute. That's awesome. But when you take it into marriage, it's a totally different thing.
I'm laughing at the comments.
The comments.
Justin Timberlake and Sarah. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Well, when you take it into marriage, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Right? When that progress is not evident in dating, I hate to put it this way, but you can get rid of that person. Right? You can dump them like you dumped me. Broke my heart. Right? You can break up. Go your separate ways. When you get married based on potential, the thing about marriage is that when you say I do, you're saying I do to the person they are.
Exactly as
right
they
now.
are in that moment.
You're not saying I will. You're not saying I may. You're not saying I hope to.
Yeah.
You're saying I do to who they are right now.
Yeah.
Not who you think they will become.
Those things that get on your last nerve, flaws and all.
So when you're having the discussion of, and this is why a lot of marriages, I believe, honestly, have a lot of struggles, is that, well, I thought things would be different.
But why? Because you saw them exactly a hot mess when they were dating. What makes it different now that there's a ring?
I thought you would be different.
I thought you were going to be romantic, but you weren't romantic when we were dating. But now I'm expecting it.
I thought you would help me around the house more. I thought you would do this. I thought you would do that.
Pick up.
But you saw him being lazy, and his mom was doing everything for him.
Not the mom.
I'm going to bring the mom in it. Right? I thought that we would be more financially stable. Well, he couldn't submit to authority, couldn't show up to work on time, right? He was a hot mess financially before he got married.
So what makes
you think that when you got married that this miraculous thing was going to happen and everything was just going to be that much better?
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem.
If anything, marriage kind of magnifies those things. Because now you're trying to come together and
make it work with the potential that there was no progress.
Like if you would have had the expectation on me that I was going to be the typical like I was going to be like a Susie homemaker, which there's nothing wrong with that, honestly, because that's amazing. But that wasn't me. Like he's still the better cook, guys.
100%.
He's the better cook. He cleans faster and better than I do.
I made the most amazing chicken Alfredo for our staff the other day.
But I mean, if he would have come in with those expectations into marriage, thinking like I was going to do all those things when there wasn't a lot to show you that I was going to do that prior to the marriage. Not that I was useless, but like I didn't have those traits where I was like, oh, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a disappointment. So we had to have teamwork, come have discussions on like what was going to happen. For me, it was always going to be, we're going to divide things. It's 50-50. We're like going to make it work.
But that's actually the whole point.
Yeah.
Is how do you deal with this whole idea of potential in a relationship, and how do you have what are some tips to get by that? Right.
And like, Selenia said some people are great at pretending while dating.
Come on, that's scary.
It's scary, but it's true.
It's scary, but it's true.
Yeah. If they're like putting on a show.
Yeah.
And then the worst part is like you marry them, and that happens like where it's like, well, this person's a stranger because I literally don't know. Like it's night and day, and people switch, and that's horrifying, you know? Like our hope is that if you're in a situation where you are dating someone, or you're even like single, or maybe you're in a serious relationship heading towards marriage, you can kind of go through like, okay, is there potential, but like, is there progress towards that? Or am I banking on this person becoming something that they're just never going to be, that I want them to have, or whatever the case may be, you know?
Because the moment you put a ring on it, you're saying yes to the person they are today.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't mean that people can't, and I'm not even saying that. I'm not saying people can't change. I'm saying that the reality is that most people don't. Yeah. There might be some change, right?
But you don't want to
be some progress.
You don't want to bank the rest of your life. Like it's too much. It's too big. Yeah. To bank it on, well, they could be, but I'm not really seeing that. Right. For me, it was important that I was going to marry someone that loves Jesus and that could lead our family in faith. Yeah. And that was reliable, was steadfast, like all of those things. And I saw those things during phase 2 of our dating life from college, my college years, right?
I was like a Marvel phase, like phase 1 of Marvel.
Part 2,
phase 2, yeah.
2.0 version, right? But like, because I saw those things when he asked for my hands in marriage, I was confident. Yeah. Not knowing that this wasn't a perfect man. There were things that he still had to work out. There's things he's still working out. I'm still working out. Yeah. But I knew that those things that really mattered to me, which was for me, faith, Like, if we're not on the same page with our faith, we're not on the same page with like our devotion to Jesus and what that looks like, then that was going to be a problem for me because marriage was too long. It was too heavy to just be like, well, it could be, but it's not, but like it could be. And he's really cute. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to actually see those things.
But I think that would be probably like one of the first tips that I would say is like, okay.
There you go, Victor.
How do
we
I
see you.
How do I deal with someone who might have potential? And how do I kind of like decide whether or not I want to continue in this relationship? I think the first thing was like, it would be know your standards and don't compromise on them.
On the things that you know
the things
are
that matter.
The things that matter the most.
Yeah.
So like Victor said, I didn't have a job when I got married. Now I work like a crazy man. But I think if you always had that work ethic, that's a different thing. Like if someone doesn't have a job, okay, but what's the work ethic like?
Right.
For me, to me, it's important that who I marry, they have a work ethic because I have a strong work ethic. So like, I don't even think it's so much the technicality of that. I think it's okay, but are you a lazy person or not? Like, or
and I like,
are you going to work hard? Because that is important to me.
I'll share our story even with that. Like there was a time in our relationship, in our marriage, where I wasn't working, right? But the difference is, hey, if Natalie's working and I'm not in this season, I've always worked since I was 16.
Yeah, he's
like I've been working since a young age.
He was my sugar daddy.
But
no, really,
I've been working since I was 16 as a cashier
he paid
at Walgreens.
For our wedding.
But there was a season where I was not working.
Yeah.
Here's what I was not going to do. I was not going to sit at home doing nothing but playing video games all day long while you were working at home, and then have you come home to cook us a dinner and clean the house and do the laundry and do I made sure all those things got done before you got home so that you could come home and just chillax the rest of the day. And I think that's like, you know, we're not talking about not working, but you can't tell me someone is a hardworking person when all they're producing is laziness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't tell me somebody has the potential to be kind when they're just a flat out jerk to everyone.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that someone will be a good husband when they don't know how to die to themselves. And this is something we learn progressively. I understand that. And we still learn every day. But if you can't even care for the person next to you, it's going to be a long road.
Yeah. What would you say to people that are married and they're already in it, but like maybe they weren't? I think Maria said there's a big difference when some of us weren't saved when we got married. So what would you say as like an encouragement, or to people who they didn't start that journey that way, but what does that look like now, you know?
I would say that obviously being a Christian, I would say to stand firm in your faith. And what I mean by that is knowing that there is still hope for you.
Yeah.
There is still hope that Christ, when the two of you get together, make him the center of your relationship.
Yeah.
Can restore, reconcile, redeem the bad choices or decisions that you made that have led you to this point. Obviously, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
That takes both parties, you know, putting Christ first in their marriage, but it is a possibility.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage you to say, hey, don't give up and still have hope and put in the work yourself. Because here's the thing, too, like, it's not all on the other person. You know, one of the greatest books that we've read on marriage that I loved that book when we read it was Sacred Marriage.
Yes. Gary
Thomas, Sacred Marriage. If you get a chance to pick up that book, honestly, read it. Not only will it change your marriage, but it will change you.
Yeah.
Because it really hones in on the question of, does marriage serve the purpose of making you happy or making you more holy? And that's a hard pill to swallow. Because the purpose of our marriage, and even like I could see it even just in our marriage personally, how am made more like Christ through our marriage together because you challenge me, you push me, and there are certain times where it's hard to love you, and I'm not like there are certain times where it's hard to love me, and yet I could say as your husband, you consistently demonstrate grace, you consistently go to God, and you like demonstrate love in such a way that makes you more like Jesus. And I think that that's something that I mean, we could do a whole podcast on that. But the idea of, hey, I'm not just talking about the other person's potential. What about the potential in my life?
Yeah.
What about the progress that needs to be seen in my life?
Yeah.
How am I becoming more like Christ in my relationship? How am I becoming more like Jesus? How am I progressing in my maturing, in my growth, and the way that I live and the way that I do things?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The way that I carry myself in this relationship too. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I think so for the encouragement for those people, you're already in it, you're married. Man, I would go to God hardcore because marriage is difficult enough by ourselves. So we need Christ to be the center of our marriage.
And I think I would say too, it's okay to hit the reset button, like with your partner and kind of be like, hey, you know what? We're off focus, or like we haven't, we said we wanted to set this relationship on the foundation that's Jesus Christ, but we veered off track. Like it's gotten a little off focus. It's gotten a little, shaky. Let's reset. Let's come together. Yeah. Let's reestablish what we want this to be about, and let's go there. Let's get
the help.
Again. Yeah.
Get the help. Sometimes you can't do that by yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to go get counseling. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to go see a therapist or a counselor
pastor,
personally.
Whoever. Yeah.
Sometimes you need to go see a pastor. And I would even say that if that person's not willing to do it, you do it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's also talking about working within yourself.
Yeah.
How can I love somebody who's unlovable?
And I think too, like, sometimes we want to change our spouse, right? Like, there's things about Jose that I would love to change, right? There's probably things about me.
100%.
And like in my fleshly nature, it's like, well, Jose, do X, Y, and Z and like figure it out and be better. Right. But I know that like I can't try to work that change out in him because that's not my job. I'm not the Holy Spirit. All I can do is have an open line of communication and pray. Like I think that's something that's so underrated. Like we need to pray for our spouses, and not just pray, but like intercede, like go to war for them. There's times when I'm like battling like against the devil himself, like on behalf of him, because I love him, and because there's some battles that like he might not be able to fight because he's going through it. Or there's times when I've been weak, or I've been really walking through a season that's dark, or that's like I can't fight for myself, and he's coming alongside and like covering me in prayer and like helping me fight that battle too. So I think, we can't try to change them. We might want to, because it seems like, well, if I give you these 3 steps, like it's easy, just do this, and like I'm gonna transform you into what I want,
But there should be an element of change in a relationship.
There should be an element of change, but I think we have to let the Holy Spirit be the one to do that work.
Yeah.
We are Christians, so our life is based on Jesus. Like that is the foundation of our marriage. This is a Christian-based podcast because
so you're gonna hear that a lot.
That's it. Like that's what has kept us all of these years. There's not anything else. There's not like this secret thing. What has kept our faith in the midst of complete chaos, crisis, storms, like the craziest things is literally Jesus. Is the fact that because I love Jesus and because I want to honor him, that's going to reflect in how I'm treating my spouse and like how I am as a person in this marriage. Yeah. Because I want to honor God in everything that I do, and I want to be able to honor him in our marriage.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing for the health of a marriage or any relationship. And I was having this conversation with somebody earlier this week, this idea of like for us, and I think it's why it's benefited our relationship and our marriage so much, is that our Christianity, our discipleship in Christ, our relationship with God is not just another aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
But it is the main aspect of our lives. And because it's the main aspect of our lives, it permeates into every other aspect of our lives. Our relationship, our marriage, our parenthood, the way we serve at church, the way we build relationships with other people. It ain't perfect. That's not what I'm saying.
Listen.
It is not perfect. But it is the main driving force and motivation for everything we do in our lives.
Yeah.
And so, but I think going back to the topic, because we kind of like veered off in a good way. But tip number 1 would be, hey, know your standards and don't compromise on them. Tip number 2 would be, communicate. Have those hard conversations. Have those hard discussions. Hurt each other's feelings in a good way. Like, let each other know, hey, this is a standard that I have that I'm not willing to compromise on. And you're not meeting that. And obviously, you be realistic and loving and gracious with your standards.
Yeah, like if it's like he needs an 8-pack, he needs to have long flowing.
I mean, like
Fabio hair.
Genuinely, like standards that matter.
Yeah, character standards, core values. What are your core values
in a relationship, right? And have those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, like I will not tolerate you speaking to me that way.
Yeah.
Hey, wifey, like I will not tolerate, because I'm doing everything I can to love you, I will not tolerate being disrespected that way.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to honor you, and I'm doing everything I can to honor you. But hey, like, I can receive some honor.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to build you up, and I do everything I can to give you words of affirmation and to show you my love and to speak kindly to you. I deserve to be spoken kindly to as well. Hey, you shouldn't treat my family this way or disrespect my family this way or even disrespect your family that way. You know, hey, no, you can't sit around the house doing nothing all day long. You got to go get a job and actually be a provider and help me pay some bills around this piece. You know what I mean?
And I think it's okay to have core values. It's okay to sit down if you're in a season of like waiting for that person. I have probably like 15 journals back here because
that she wants to get buried with, guys.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to ever read my journals. But it's okay to like dream, to have core values, to take time to really think about what genuinely matters to you. Like, what are the things that I'm really not going to compromise on? What are these like non-negotiables? Because I feel like that's a lot easier when you know those things going in than when you don't really have anything. And then like a person comes in and you're like, you know, I have so much respect for like a few of my girlfriends. I don't want to say a specific name, but because I don't know, like, but I have respect for people who like won't compromise and they would rather live a life of being single because they refuse to compromise on those core values, not silly things, but like the things that really matter,
and
like faith. I respect that so much.
I would love to have those people on this podcast.
Yeah, you know who you are.
You know who you are. We're coming for you. We are coming for you.
But to me, it's like, and I've had conversations with this person and they're like, you know, life is just, it's too long to live and be miserable. But to have someone, I'd rather wait for the right thing and still have a really full life. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I'm not lacking anything. Like, and I respect that because I'm like, that's awesome, you know? So.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's my rant on potential. I would just say, like,
oh my gosh, Gabby, my girl right here.
Genuinely, I think we definitely should be 100% mindful of this because, I don't know, I take marriage so seriously, and I think that's why we're doing this podcast, and that's why I get stirred up because, like, there are so many marriages that are crumbling, that are failing, that are struggling because of the fact that they got into their marriage based on potential, and that potential has not led to the expectation that they were expecting. And it has only led to disappointment. And I agree, life, especially marriage, is too long to be miserable. And the thing is, when you say I do to somebody, you're saying I do to who they are. And who they are right now is who they're most likely going to be as they get older and as your relationship goes on. There's a lot of things that have changed about me. There's also a lot of things that have not changed about me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so there's a lot of ways where I have become better, wiser, stronger, more mature. But there are other ways where I'm still walking out and allowing God to work through my weaknesses and kinks and all that stuff. Because we're not talking about perfection either.
No,
right?
not perfection.
Again, the word is progression, not perfection.
Yeah.
However, comma, pause for effect, right? There has to be some kind of progress.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of maturing, some kind of growth. Are there any other tips that
I want
you
to share
think?
Gabby's comment.
Gabby's comment,
Because
okay.
I thought it was really good. She said, life lesson, phone a friend. People with godly wisdom who legit know your blind spots can see your relationship objectively.
That is so
without
good.
all the feels, will pick up on red flags and keep it
Oh
100.
my gosh. You know what? We could honestly talk about that because that's such a good one. I can't believe we didn't think
Gabby's
about
the
that.
real deal, y'all. This girl is like...
That's my sister, y'all.
Yeah,
that's my sister. But that's so good because she's absolutely 100% right. Surrounding yourself with people who can speak honestly and openly into your relationship.
Yep.
And give you some wisdom, but also tell you the truth
Yes.
about what they see.
Yeah. Guys, I want to spoil some things for you because I think a lot of times people look at us, they're like relationship goals, whatever the case may be. However, when we first started our relationship and it wasn't very healthy, we had people speaking into that flat out who were like, no, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Like, and that was really helpful when we needed to take that step back and like, hold on, this is like people that we love and trust are kind of saying, hold on for a second. And then when it came to a place of health, having everyone that you love get on board and be like, hey, this is fruitful. Yeah. This is great. This is healthy.
Leading to something great.
We support this. Yeah. Like our parents, our best friends, like people that matter to us.
Yeah.
And I think like what Gabby said, being able to have people speak into your relationship, which we still have those people speak into our relationship because we don't have everything is not always perfect.
The Bible says in the book of Proverbs, there is wisdom in the counsel of many.
Yeah. If everyone is saying red flag, red flag, red flag, and you are refusing to see it, then that's a red flag.
That's a red flag. Listen to me. Everybody's not against you.
People will see things that you can't see.
Yeah. Everybody's not against you.
They just want what's best for you
most
of the time.
The saying is love is blind. And there are things that you may not see because you are so infatuated and you are so in love. And maybe, just maybe, people genuinely are saying stuff because they love you. They're not trying to hurt you, you know? And I understand that may not always be the case. But 9 times out of 10,
if everyone is saying here are the red flags that I see, and these are people that know you, that are wise
love you,
people,
that are for you,
take it into consideration.
Because the common denominator is not everyone. it's you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so that is so huge, man. Having people find some mentors in your relationship. Who are those people in your life that you love, that you know love you, that can keep it real with you,
genuine best interest at heart,
that can both encourage you but also call you on your crap?
Yeah.
Let those people speak into your relationship.
Yeah.
And let those people call you out and like ask those questions, the hard questions, and have the hard conversations, and let them speak into your relationship.
Yeah.
Because if there is real potential, and there's progress that's being worked out in that potential, then hey, their wisdom is only gonna make your relationship that much greater. Yeah. But if there's not, you are going to save yourself from so much heartache and so much pain by just heeding the wisdom of people who are seeing what you're not seeing, who might be more wiser than you are, and who genuinely love the heck out of you.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think as we kind of wrap up, because it's 50 minutes in.
I don't even care.
We love talking.
We can go on forever on this.
But I think like I don't want anyone to leave feeling condemned.
Yeah.
Or to feel like hopeless. Like, you know, maybe I'm in it already. I haven't done these things. Like we said, you know, reset. If your partner's not on board, they're not saved, they're not even on the same page, ask God to change like what he can change in you and just pray for them. Like, don't try to make that change in them. Pray for them. Like, love them. Ask God for wisdom on how to deal or how to.
And the Bible the Bible genuinely talks about that, about spouses who are married to unbelievers and how they should let their conduct be what demonstrates, speak and demonstrate the message of the gospel of grace, mercy, and love unto them. Yeah. And so, you know, and I don't want to diminish that in any way, shape, or form. That has to be so difficult. But I would also say, if they have a pulse,
they have a chance for God to change them.
That's right. And I would also say that you are not doing it by yourself. Yeah. That God is with you in every situation. Yeah. That he is for you, that he is for your marriage. And continue believing, continue to press in, continue to pray, continue to
let us know how we can pray for you. Yeah. Like, DM us. We'd love to pray for you. We'd love to like cover you in prayer. If you're in the dating season, this is also just like, hey, heads up, kind of keep this in mind, you know? Yeah. Because we can be very romantic and it's like, ooh, you know, and you want to make sure you just consider these things. Yeah. But I
think that's it.
I think that's the vibe. Guys, thank you.
If this podcast has been a blessing to you in any way, shape, or form, we've loved
reading your comments. We're learning along with you guys.
We loved interacting with you guys, but do us a favor, like, you've already commented, share, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we do something like this and post some new content.
Did you guys like us being live? Tell us that too. Tell us, because maybe it'll win Jose some happy points and he'll convince me to do live more. Yeah. But thanks guys for tuning in. We know it was a little crazy because he had work and that's
life. We love you guys. We hope you have a great week.
Have a great week.